Right, are we live? Let's check. Charlie, are we live? Are we live, Charlie? Are we? Goodbye, Charlie. Let's see. Well, I think we're live. I'm just going to wait for confirmation. And yes, we are. There you go. You could see we had a cat bottom in the picture there. So I apologise for the nudity. These things happen when it's a live broadcast. You get the odd cat bottom as things go on. So hello and welcome to this 1 hour webinar, and should be quite fun. Got a couple of things I thought I'd share with you. Hopefully you haven't seen these before. Just to let you know, I'm currently working on, you can see below that at the moment, the first course I did for iChess, my Ginger Method, I think it's called, which is a 16-hour course, and it gives you the secrets of how to improve with limited time. And I'm actually currently working on a second course, another 15-hour course. So very busy at the moment. But I thought I'd take an hour out now just to share with you some fun little things I've come across recently. I've got some puzzles for you. And one thing I want to do, I'm following you guys on the chat, so make sure you get involved with the chat. Can you also confirm that you can hear me okay? Because I know my volume, I had problems with my volume yesterday. So if you could just confirm in the chat that you can hear me, and that would be great. But yeah, so we're just going to have a bit of fun, really. And I want you to try to answer the questions I've got prepared in the chat. So good, you can hear me. Mist Druid, hello Dagnu, hello Ginger Ninja. Good to have you back, Ginger Ninja. Great name, Ginger Ninja. And we okay, good. I already see that someone's saying stop. What? Stop talking? I'll tell you what, if you don't enjoy it, it's a very simple solution. Bugger off. Simple as that. But you're getting a free lesson, so it should be all right. Okay. So, right. Well, the first thing I thought I'd show you is a little study position. And I thought I'd show you this because it really is a great way of this position I've got. In order to solve this puzzle, I think it really shows you the way you need to think in order to be a better chess player. There's not many pieces on the board, so in some ways that should make things simpler. And we're going to discuss through this puzzle basically the way you should think, and what I call the process of elimination, which was first, it's been discussed by numerous grandmasters in books, and I think it's a very good way to calculate and to improve your chess. Hello, Prasad. Hello, Prasad. Hope I said that right. And what that means is, in a situation, let me bring up the position. So I'm going to get rid of my face now. Goodbye, face. And we'll get the chess position set up. Actually, I'm just going to make sure I don't have the answer. I had the answer last time I did one of these. Let's get rid of the answer. There we go. And we're going to bring up the position now. So let me see if I got this right. Have we got that right? Can you see? Yes, you can. Good stuff. So it's this position. It's white to play. Black's pawns are going down the board. And like I said, there's not much material on the board. And it looks like it might be quite a boring, boring puzzle, this. But I actually think this is a very beautiful puzzle. I really enjoy this puzzle. I think it's a really nice, beautiful puzzle. And it shows us how we should think. Now, there's two problems I see, and two things you can all do to get better at chess. We can all do, including myself. Number one, it's move selection. So when you get to a position in the middle game and you need to start calculating, what moves should you calculate? What moves should you calculate? And lower rated players generally look at moves that grandmasters won't look at. They look at nonsense. So the first thing you need to do in order to be a better chess player is improve your move selection. So you've got to make sure you're looking at the position in the right way and you're looking at the right moves. So moves that are relevant to the position. And this is something I go into in my course, which obviously you can buy now at 50% off. And it's only going to be 50% off for a couple of days, so you can buy it there. But I talk about that there and in my new course. And then the next thing, when you've worked out the move you want to play, you've then got to calculate. So you calculate the move, and I'm going to tell you the first move here. But this puzzle is about 5 moves deep, so you need to try and look into the future here. And like I said, there's not many pieces on the board, so it should be reasonably simple. And as Miss Druid has said, what white needs to do is win the knight. You need to win the knight with your rook. This is the aim of this. And what you should be doing, so I can see a lot of you have the right first move, rook b6. But what you need to do is then use the process of elimination. And this example is a brilliant way of demonstrating that. Now, let's try to work this out without moving the pieces. So rook b6 is a natural move. And what I mean then is we then have got to eliminate our opponent's options. And we can do that by working out what he's going to do. And this is called the process of elimination, a really important tool in calculating. So when we attack the knight, let's have a think. Where would the knight be able to go? Well, if the knight moved to a5 or to c5, what is a good move for white in that position? So let's say you go rook b6 and the knight moves to one of these 2 squares highlighted. What would be a good plan for white? And I see Miss Druid is in the chat. And yeah, I'm trying to highlight the squares. I'm not trying to move the pieces because I want you to try to picture this. In a game of chess, you couldn't move the pieces, could you? You can't move the pieces in a game of chess. You have to work it out in advance. So if I go rook b6 and you move, okay, well done. Looks like some of you got the answer. My pronunciations are awful. So if I say your name wrong, I apologize. But I'm going to say Hino has got it right. And Effie Hattie Poglu. That's an interesting name for us English people. But you're right. So if the knight goes to one of these 2 squares, the rook can go to b5 and we win the knight. Let me just show that on the board. So rook b6. And now if the knight moves either to c5 or a5, white can pin the knight with rook b5 and the knight is lost. There's no way that black can keep that knight. So what we need to do before we play rook b6, we use the process of elimination, meaning that we eliminate the moves knight c5 and knight a5 from our calculation. So let's try to picture this as we go along. So rook b6, the knight can't go to here or here. The knight can't go to d6 because if it goes to d6, what happens? We play rook takes knight. So there's only one square the knight can go to. And we need to work this all out before playing the move. So after rook b6, the only square the knight can go to is d8. That is the only square. And now you need to picture what your next move may be. So can anyone do that? So we're thinking now 2 moves ahead. I'm not going to move the pieces until we have to. So we know after rook b6, knight d8 is the only option using the process of elimination. Every other move loses the knight. What should white play then and why? And I'm keeping an eye on the chat so you guys can try to get involved as well. So what is the best move after rook goes to this square, attacking the knight, and the knight goes to this square? So that's what we're looking at. What should white play then and why? You need to win that knight. So basically, you're trapping that knight. You're trying to chase down the knight. What do you need to do then? Any suggestions? No suggestions. Ginger Ninja is saying rook b5, g5, rook b6. I don't think that helps because of knight f7, Ginger Ninja. Prasad Chess is saying rook d6. Okay, let's make it a bit easier. I'm going to make it a bit easier. But the way you need to improve at chess is basically you need to try to work these things out. And the thing is, there's very limited moves you need to calculate here because there's not many pieces on the board. So in a game, you need to work this out in advance. But let's make it a bit easier. So rook here, knight here. Now we need to trap that knight. Now, let me give you a clue. Prasad Chess has got it right. Rook d6 is now the right move. And this knight now has 2 squares it can move to, either f7 or b7. And let's use the process of elimination here. And this is how we build up our thinking. If we go knight to b7, let's say the knight goes back to b7. How can white win the knight now? white can win that knight now? How can white win the knight? It's white to play. How can you chase down that knight and trap the knight? What can you do here? Anyone? So how can you trap the knight? We're slowly trapping that knight. Remember, if we go back to b6, it's going to be a draw, but we can trap the knight now. Anyone have an idea? I'll give you a second or two to see how you can trap it. Well, well done, Steve Martin. Well done, the drunk poker boy. The move we play now is rook d7, because now the knight can't go to d8 or to d6. The knight can only move, in order to avoid being captured, to either c5 or a5. And what happens when the knight moves to one of these two squares? What do we play then? What do we play then? So when the knight moves to one of these two squares, what do? We play rook to d5 check, like we did before, and we win the knight. So, for example, knight c5, rook d5 check, and you win the knight. Or if knight a5, rook d5 check, and we win the knight again. So let's go back to the start of this problem. The first move is rook b6, and we're just chasing that knight down. And now knight to d8, and now rook d6. Now we know that the knight can't go to b7 now, so there's only one square it can go to. We're using this process of elimination. The knight has to try to go here, and we can actually win now. It's quite hard to see in your head, Miss Druid. I know, but what I'm trying to show you is how you improve your calculation. You have to do it in small steps. If you had half an hour to solve this, then you might be able to do it. And it's something, because there's only a couple of pieces on the board, and this is something you need to improve in order to be a better player. Amiga 7 God, thank you for buying the Ginger GM Master Method. I'm glad you thought it was very good. Good stuff. I'm hoping it will help you. And one of the reasons, obviously, I'm doing this webinar, as you may or may have not guessed, is that for today and tomorrow only, so buy it now, is 50% off my course. It's 50% off my course, and this is a 16 or 17-hour course, and I try to give you all the secrets to become a better player. And I hope it will help you. So yeah, good. And if you have got it, let me know what you think. Is it a good course? I hope it's a good course. I'll be rather annoyed if it wasn't a good course. Okay, so let's have a think. Okay, well, now I think Ginger Ninja has the right solution. We need to chase this knight down. I'll just show you the end of this. The way we do this is rook d7, and again, this is how you should be calculating. Imagine you had this position. You should be thinking about rook d7, and then you should be thinking the knight has 3 squares, and you calculate them one at a time. So if the knight goes to h8, how can white win now? How can white win in this position? So, Heino, well done. Well done, Heino. You've got the right answer. Anyone else got the right answer? What is the right answer? If knight h8, how can we trap the knight there? The knight is stuck in the corner now. Well, we can trap it by going rook h7. And there's no way that knight can escape. So well done if you saw that. So the process of elimination, you eliminate knight to h8 from your fort. So then you've got to think, where else can the knight move? Well, if the knight goes to e5, how can white win here? What is white's winning move in this position? Is it a winning move? Mr. Carlson is saying, is there a GM guarantee with a bundle? Well, no. I think the guarantee is, though, which I know iChess always do, you get a 1 month basically money back guarantee. So if you don't like the course, you can buy the course now for 50% off. And if you don't like it, you can get your money back within a month. So you can get your money back. That is a possibility. So, you can even try it out. If you don't like it, then you get your money back. So it's a good deal. Yes, the move here is rook d5. Similar as before, the knight is trapped. So again, using the process of elimination, if you had this position as white, before you play rook d7, you'd have to work out the knight h8, knight e5 are both losing for black. There's only one other option. If the knight moves to g5, how does white win this position? And this is the nice move. And you're right, Dagnu is saying, if you go rook d5 here, it's actually stalemate. That's a funny stalemate, but there is a winning move now. There is a winning move now. And you're right, Mr. Daz. Knight to g5 is the question, indeed. A bit of Shakespeare there. Was that Hamlet, I feel, that you're saying? To be or not to be? It is the question. It is indeed. And the drunk poker boy, you have it right. Well done, Ginger Ninja, as well. Are you actually Ginger Ninja? You know, I'm always happy to see more gingers in the house. And the move here is, and this is another very important thing, and the reason I picked this puzzle, like I said, I think it shows a couple of things. One thing that lower rated players don't do enough, they don't think about their opponent's options. They only think about their own ideas. And I think in this position, lower rated players would suggest rook d4. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea if you suggest that with the idea of going checkmate. But if you did think of this move and you suggested this move, I think this is a classic case of not considering what your opponent's going to play. And here, of course, if it's white's move, it's checkmate, but you're not considering what black will do. And black here will just move the knight somewhere. And eventually, if that knight gets to f5, it will be very safe there because it will be guarded. So this doesn't help you. You're not going to win this position. But what you've got to do in order to solve this is try to think what black's next move is going to be. You've got to try to get into your opponent's mind. And this is something everyone needs to do to become a better chess player. Well, he can't move the pawns because they're blocked. He can't move the king. So the only piece he can move is the knight. So all we have to do now is go rook e7, a very beautiful move. And our rook controls all the squares that the knight can go to. And our king controls the other two squares. So this little move, rook to e7, demonstrates how important it is to think about your opponent's next move, get into your opponent's mind, and you should be able to see here that white is now winning because whatever black plays, he's going to lose the knight. What can black play? He has to move the knight. Wherever the knight moves, he's going to lose the knight. So, okay, I mean, that puzzle might not appeal to everyone. It is quite a long puzzle. Well, I mean, it's 4 moves long. It might not appeal to everyone. I really, for some reason, I really like that because there was so little pieces on the board. And I thought it was quite beautiful how the rook slowly corners the knight. You know, it goes, you know, slowly but surely you trap the knight. And it also shows some very important ways that you need to think in order to become a better chess player. So I've got some more stuff lined up. So let's move on to the next one in a minute. I will keep plugging my course throughout this hour. I hope you don't mind. You know, it is your last chance to get it at 50% off. And there is a link below you can click on that will take you straight to the shop to buy it. It's only available for another 24 hours. And in that course, I do try to give all the secrets, everything I've learned from my 30 years of playing chess and my grandmaster thing. I try to condense into a 16-hour course to try to give you quick shortcuts that you can use to be a better player, but shortcuts that are going to be good. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And I've got another little thing lined up for you now. And that demonstrates something else. Well, this one is something I think you may all have a good chance of solving. And the next one is really pretty for some reason. This, to me, I love. One of the reasons I love chess so much, for me, I find it very artistic, and I see a lot of beauty in moves. Maybe as mathematicians see in numbers, or musicians hear in music. In some moves, there's a lot of beauty. And this next one, I think, is beautiful geometric pattern. It's a beautiful geometric pattern that is the winning move. So it's white to play. What is the best move for white in the final position? And I'm just seeing that some questions. Well, maybe we'll do some more discounts later on, but at the moment it's just this Ginger GM method you can get a bit cheaper. Okay, so let me get the position up, and it's white to play. What is white's best move? And I like this. It's quite a simple move. After white's next move, black resigned. So don't guess. Have a good go. Oh. The drunk poker boy is saying, would you say most 2400 plus players would see this? or just play a move because it seems there is no immediate win? Well, the drunk poker boy, what I was trying to demonstrate with that puzzle was literally the way that 2400 or even 2200 plus players think. They never just play a move. They always are thinking in that way every move, especially when there's a complicated position. So before they'd play in that last puzzle, the rook move, they'd be working out all the lines of thought, and they'd be trying to calculate as far as they could. And I'm sure if they did that in a methodical way, they would get the answer. So yeah, in the former puzzle, the drunk poker boy. So yeah, it's just a skill you have to improve. It's not easy to do. Sometimes improving your calculation can be a little bit boring, but it's a skill you need to improve and practice. It's probably the most important thing in chess to become a better player. Okay, well, I really like this one, and I see a lot of you got the answer now. It's white to play, and the reason I like this, white's a pawn down. A lot of people might go rook takes pawn here without thinking, but if you've got that special vision, and this is what I was saying earlier, the last puzzle was about calculating properly. This one is about seeing the right moves originally, because the right move here is this amazing move, rook b8, which looks like the rook can be taken by two pieces. In theory, it can't. But I think a lot of people would not consider this move. They just would not see this move because it is out of their vision. And one thing I want to try to do with the new course I'm creating is to improve people's vision, trying to give them tips how they can improve vision. And this move, forced resonation, it's a beautiful move because we're going to take the rook with check. Black's only got one idea here, really, and that is rook takes rook. But after rook takes rook, he's now going to lose two pieces. It's a bit like drafts now. Bishop takes bishop, check. The king moves, and bishop takes rook. And this is quite an easy win because we have a pass pawn, and with correct play, white will win this very easily. So I just like the pattern of this position. This rook b8 move to me seems quite artistic. It's got a nice pattern to it. You know, you offer your rook, and it's a very simple combination, but it shows you that when you're looking at positions, you need to have good vision. You need to even sometimes look at the impossible. And a way to improve this is to basically, you've got to, I would say, look at games of top players, but really understand the middle game positions that you're trying to get into. And again, I talk about this in the course, which is you can now click below. You'd be crazy not to buy it now. And I talk about it there. And basically, I talk how you basically need to be in middle game positions, and you need to understand your plans. How many times have you been in a position in chess where you're lost for an idea? What my course aims to do is get you in a position where you're never lost for an idea, which is so important. Okay, so we're going to move on to another one now. And, well, this one is an interesting little one. And again, this one is for your calculation skills. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you all to consider it. And the way to solve this is by calculating. I'll give you some clues as we go along. Now, the next position, it's black to play. That's a rook and pawn ending. It's black to play, and I want you to tell me what the result should be. Should it be a win for black, a draw, or a win for white? And what I want you to do is back up what you're saying about the position with some variations. So it's only about 3 or 4 moves deep. Let's see how you get on, and I'll help you out when things get a little bit trickier. So let's do that. So it's black to play here, and what should the right result be? What should the right result be? Kelson is saying, when am I planning to stream on Twitch? Well, I was hoping to do something this week, but I've been so busy recently because, like I say, I'm filming another 15-hour course, and I've got 10 hours to film over the next couple of days. Then I'm off to Hamburg. Well, I'm actually going to Iceland first, apparently, to play Icelandic Chess League. And then I'm going to the Chess Space to film 2 DVDs for Chess Space. So in about 2 or 3 weeks, I will have more time to stream and stuff. Okay, well, a lot of you are saying rook to h1 and black's winning. Do you all agree This again, I've picked this puzzle specifically for a reason, and it may show the difference again between, again, lower rated players and higher rated players, and the difference in thinking. What you need to do, okay, well, drunk poker boy saying white's winning. Why would white be winning? You've got to back it up. Oh, very, very nice, Martin. Very nice. Hello, Martin. Glad you can join us here today. And you're the first person to get this right. Well done, Martin. That's brilliant. Well done. Yeah, good stuff. So actually this is right. And this shows you that you need to sometimes just calculate that little bit further. Originally, this might look like black's winning, but actually it's white who is winning. And Warnaldo, I am going to Bunratty in February. Yes, so if you're there, I'll see you there. Bunratty, one of my favorite tournaments ever, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. So, okay, the drunk poker boy say Martin's line. That's a good way out. So it looks like black's winning because it looks like rook to h1 check, which is an amazing idea, means that the g pawn will queen. So I can see why a lot of people saying black's winning, and this is a fantastic idea, but it doesn't quite work. Hello, AD hacking as well. Okay, you have to take that, and now takes it, and it looks like there's no way to stop that pawn from queening. But in actual fact, if you looked at this position a little bit deeper and used the process of elimination, this combines the two things I'm talking about in this webinar. Number one, move selection. You don't give up calculating here. There's only one way you can try to stop that pawn, and the only way is to get your rook behind it. There's not even any other moves to calculate. And if you looked at this move for a little bit longer, you might see that it's actually unbelievably winning for white, because king takes here, and now we can play g4 with check. What an amazing idea. And the king gets to g2, and we can take that pawn. And actually, it is white who's winning. For example, what can black do? It doesn't matter. Whatever black does, we go king g2, or even, okay, let's say it goes king f4, king g2, king e3. This maybe is black's best try. He wants to go king e2 and f1 queen, but now we can just go king f1, and we're easily winning. One of our pawns will queen. So it just shows you again that puzzle, that when you're calculating, another skill which I use a lot, and that's a basic example of it. Whenever I've calculated a line, I will always double check and even triple check my calculations, because especially if it's a very risky line like that where you give up a rook, if you're going to sacrifice, you need to really double check, triple check, and look at all forcing possibilities, even if they can even look ridiculous. And you just got to make sure you don't rush into playing the move, as that example does demonstrate. And again, this is a skill that can be improved, and that you need to work on in order to become a better player. Okay, right. So let's give you another one. We got another one lined up for you, boys and girls. And before I get to that, I was talking about Bunratty tournaments, and Bunratty. If you live anywhere in Europe, maybe it's a bit hard if you're American, but it's a tournament in Ireland in February. And it's only for 3 or 4 days, but it's a great tournament. It's in a very idyllic place in Ireland by a castle near one of the oldest pubs, apparently, in Ireland. And everyone just enjoys themselves. So it's one of my favorite tournaments. Now, you may have seen this puzzle, this next puzzle, because I've used it, I think, before in my streams or YouTube channel. But again, it fits in well to what I'm trying to teach you in this webinar, and what I go into in more detail, because obviously I'm only doing a 1-hour webinar now. I'm trying to condense things in my 16-hour course, which you can click on now and buy for this limited period for 50% off. Not much time left. I go into this much more in depth, and you will improve. I'm pretty sure about that. And there's even the money back guarantee. I'm also hearing hello from Transylvania. That's actually one place I've always liked to go to. I remember I actually went to quite near Transylvania once, and I was playing in the European Under-14 chess championships for England. I was selected for England to play in chess championships. And it was quite funny because it was quite a rural place in Romania, and I had very bright ginger hair at the time. And I remember walking down this very rural sort of thing in the mountains, and all these women were looking at me like, you know, like, who is this kid? Because I heard that, you know, ginger hair is some, you know, sign that you're possessed by the devil in this area or something. It was really weird, but okay, that was a long time ago in Romania, but I loved it. Really beautiful countryside, so I love to go back there again. Okay, don't know what I was saying then. I was drifting off. I've also said keep off the Guinness then. No, I'm not keeping off the Guinness. When I'm in Ireland, I'm drinking as much Guinness as possible. Can we go to the next puzzle, please? Look, if you haven't got any patience, you shouldn't be a chess player. So go and turn off now. Patience, please, sir. Learn to have some patience. You've got to listen to my crappy stories as well. You're not going to be a good chess player if you haven't got any patience. And for that, I've delayed going on to the next puzzle by another 5 seconds. Okay, right. So this next one demonstrates another technique. This is quite a hard one. It's white to play and win. I'll put the position up in a minute. But before I show the puzzle, what I want you to know is that another way you get better at vision. So like I said, combinations, improving your tactics, becoming a better attacking player is 2 things: vision, selection of moves, and calculation. Now, I'll put the position up now. Let's see if you can do it. White to play and win. You may have seen this before. I apologize if you have. But it demonstrates that when you've seen one puzzle, like I'm showing you now, you may in the future subconsciously remember the pattern, how the pieces move, the idea. And I'm going to show you how this pattern does combine with pattern recognition as well. Umesh, it's okay. I was only joking with you as well. Don't worry. I'm only joking. It's all good. And I'm going to tell you more crappy stories later on. Okay, so in this position, it's white to play and win. And tell me the whole combination. Don't just tell me the first move. And I'm going to show you this and the next puzzle. And once you've seen this puzzle, the next puzzle should be a lot easier to solve. This is a hard one, but I'm already letting you know that it's a win here. White is winning. Now, in a game of chess, you're never told, oh, you're winning here. There's a checkmate. You need to work it out. But you should be able to work out in some positions that you need to calculate further. And you need to turn on what I call the check and capture system, the CC system, which means in positions which are very forcing, you need to look at the most forcing moves, which are checks first and then captures. And again, using the process of elimination, just look at as many checks as you can in a row. And that's one thing I'd suggest you do here. Look at as many checks as you can in a row here. And if you do that and you keep looking at all the checks, you will actually find checkmate here. So let me show you the answer. It's an amazing answer. And this answer is to do with checkmating on h7. So you need to sacrifice nearly all of your pieces to free the bishop up. But I think this pattern we're going to now see is very similar to the next puzzle. Rook to h8 check. So we're looking at the most forcing move. And now black only has one move. Knight takes rook. And of course, after knight takes rook, you've lost the whole rook. But the bishop is now looking towards h7. And we have queen to h7 check. I understand a lot of people might have seen this before. I apologize, but I think it relates to the next one. And here you give up a queen for free. But the point is, after the king takes this, we now can checkmate with these 2 pieces. Rook h5, double check. There's only one move here. King to g8. And now bishop to h7, checkmate. And when I saw that puzzle, I was really impressed because, you know, look at how many pieces white gives up. He gives up a rook, he gives up a queen, and he does this all to clear the bishop into h7. And it really impressed me. But, you know, one thing I liked about it was that basically it shows a little technique, as a clearance technique. And I think now that you've seen that puzzle, I'm going to bring up another one, which you may or may have not seen. But this one is very hard again. It is a very hard puzzle, but it has a very similar idea. And now that you've seen that last one where we sacrifice on the file, the H file on the edge of the board, you give up to get the knight out of the way. See how you get on with this puzzle. And this shows you how you can improve your patterns. It's, by the way, black to play and win. And it's a force win here. Again, in the same way, every move is a check. leading to checkmates. Every move is a check. So we're in a forced situation. Like the last puzzle, we are clearly attacking here because we have a rook on the h-file, a bishop, and another bishop, all looking at the king. So you should be looking for the killer blow. White is about to check you here, so you need to be quite quick as well. So in this position, you really need to look for the most forcing moves. And remember the pattern in the last game. This is quite similar to that one. And do write it. The first person to get it, I'll be very impressed with. This is really tough. This is tough. But it shows you how we can improve, and we can even solve really hard puzzles through logical build-up and by improving little techniques. Okay, Hussam is saying, you've just brought my method. Well, thank you very much for buying the course. That's very kind of you. And like I mentioned, if you are interested in getting more tuition from me, I've done the 16-hour course. Probably took me 100 hours to prepare the material. And you can buy that only today from iChess for 50% off. And there is a link below the video if you want to buy that course. Go and buy it now. You'd be crazy not to. It will help your chess and help you get better. Are you listening? Am I listening? I'm listening to the chat. Yeah, I am. But I'm just seeing whoever's got this. Marco, you're a genius. Ginger Ninja, you're a genius as well. Well done, guys. The Drunk Poker Boy, well done. And this, okay, I'm going to show it now. This, to me, is very similar to the last puzzle because we do the similar thing. We throw our rook into the corner, like in the last puzzle. And like in the last puzzle, there's only one move, a knight takes rook. And you remember, okay, even though it's on the other side of the board, it's the same thing because the last puzzle, the reason that worked was to clear out the bishop. And again, all you have to look for is checks. Keep looking for checks. What is the only check in this position? The only check in this position is bishop h2 check. And we want to checkmate by only using checks. We're giving up another piece. The king has to take that one. But now, because we've put the knight on a much worse square, we can play rook to h8, and it's another check. We can use the process of elimination now. The white king only has 2 squares to move to, g1 or g3. We can eliminate king g1 because rook takes knight is checkmate. So we have to look at king g3. And again, all you need to do is keep looking at checks. There's only one good check. We're bringing the last piece into the game. I told you this is a hard puzzle. Knight to here, check. And now the white king only has 2 squares it can move to because all the other squares are contained. And wherever the king moves to, we have to keep looking for checks. And after rook h4, we have actually created a checkmate position. So very beautiful checkmate there. But I think it shows you that looking at tactics and looking at patterns can only help you improve your tactical ability. It can, because, you know, you have to know the idea. And this is what I'm trying to tell you in this webinar. Basically, it's 2 things to become better at calculation. Number one, you have to improve your selection of moves that you look at. And I'm trying to do that by showing you some sort of common ideas. Well, not common, but beautiful ideas. And I think this move, rook h1, would not occur to many people. But as you're trying to attack, and if you saw the last puzzle, it might occur to you. And then you need to just calculate all the checks. And if you calculate and you keep looking at all the checks, you should be able to work out the checkmate. Now, if you want to buy the course, Akesh, in the description below this video that you're looking, there's a link to the course for 50% off. And this is your last chance now. I think it's finishing tomorrow, the sale, to buy that course at 50% off. So go and grab yourself that course. It's just below this video. And thank you everyone who's got the course. I really hope you do enjoy it. I mean, everyone who's bought it so far, well, I guess you wouldn't tell me if you thought it was crap. But I think, you know, if you have brought the course, you know, and do say if you liked it or not. I mean, I think it's been very good feedback. A lot of people have told me already that it's improved their chess standard, improved their rating a lot. And I think for that, you can, you know, if you can spend a bit of money to help your chess, it must be worth it. You know, we all have to buy stuff to get better at things. And I prefer videos learning to books. And this course is all video based. And the link, like I said, is below this video. So all you need to do, just below the video, I'm even pointing to it. There's a link there. You click on the link and that will take you to the course. And Steve O's saying he's too busy to watch it. Well, I mean, the thing with this course is quite funny because the course is actually aimed at people who are busy, who don't have much time to improve. So it's people who maybe have a job. And it's quite funny if you're actually even too busy to look at the course. So that's quite funny. But you know, if you do half an hour a day, you know, or even like an hour every 3 days, you'll get through it really quickly. Basically. Okay, thinking of buying it. Okay, well, if you like the other stuff, it's good. But yeah, I mean, it depends. Some people like learning from books more. Some people like learning from videos. I like videos because I can lay in bed, I can lay on the couch, put a video on. I don't have to do anything. I'm lazy. That's why I did a course for lazy people. I'm still a GM, but I'm lazy, Grandmaster, and this is what this course is basically based on, for lazy people. How to improve the best if you're lazy like me. If I can get GM, anyone can, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that. Okay, let's now go on to another one. And well, this one I really like. This one is quite a cute one, and again, it's, I don't know. I mean, should we do that one? Okay, let me just have a look. I might come back to that one. Okay, let me just get my notation out. I don't want to give away the puzzles. That's why I'm not showing you the board quite yet. And yeah, we'll have a look at this one. We'll have a look at this one. This is a nice one. We'll go through this one from the start, okay? And I've got more questions. So this is now what we've looked at so far. Basically, only positions. We haven't looked at the build up. Now, obviously, in a game of chess, you can't, like I said, you're not going to be told when to work out the checkmate. You have to learn the skill when you need to calculate. Now, this next game, we can see the build up to the attack, and then we can see the attack as well. So we're looking at it from the white side. And one thing, which again I go into in my course, is Chuck, are you really watching from a bar in Hawaii? Chuck, if you're watching this from a bar in Hawaii, I am so jealous. That sounds like the perfect life. Watching from a bar in Hawaii. Oh my words. I'd love to be there, Chuck. Maybe one day, hey. Now, okay, so this one, if you want to play aggressive chess, you've got to pick the right openings. And this is something that people don't actually realize. And you know, the most aggressive opening is e4. So if you want to get tactical positions, this is a good way to start. Let's go through it quite quickly. The opening moves, we have an open Sicilian. And again, if you want attacking positions, this is the kind of thing to have. You own the bar, Chuck. Tell me where it is. Maybe I'll come and say hello one day. Okay. And now we have a normal. This is called the classical Sicilian, where black develops both knights. And white just puts his pieces on the most aggressive squares. And, you know, this is, if you want to be a better attacking player, you can't attack from nowhere, thin air. You have to build up your attack first. And by putting your pieces on the most aggressive squares, this is a good start. So, okay, e6, and now castles, bishop e7, bishop b3. This is a useful move because the bishop is a lot safer, more secure here. And now black castles. And how do we start attacking? Well, we've got to build our foundation. The only piece not developed is our bishop. So we bring the bishop out first. And now black aims to start his counterplay on the queen side. Whoa, what happened there? Go away, board. That's not meant to happen. And now, of course, it's time to attack. We've developed all of our minor pieces. And normally, in order to attack your opponent's king, you will need to use a pawn break. And this f4 move is a very typical maneuver in this position. Okay. D5. And now white just keeps throwing the pawn forwards. E5. The knight goes back, and now again, what would you guys play here? Let's have the first question here. So you've built up quite a nice attacking position. You've got a pawn on e5. Having a pawn on e5 is always useful when you're going to start a kingside attack, but you may need to bring more pieces around towards black's king in order to checkmate. So what would you guys be thinking of playing here? Imagine you're white now. What would you play in this position? What moves would you play here? Any idea? I can see you're all talking about the bar in Hawaii so far. Well, who knows? It sounds like fun having a bar in Hawaii. I bet it's hard work as well. But okay, well, you've got some great suggestions already. Ninad, well done. Gaming stuff, well done. And Effie, can I call you Effie? I don't know if that's right. Well done. I think these are all valid suggestions. And again, it's looking at the right kind of moves in the right order. One idea I really like is rook f3, rook h3, and then trying to bring the queen to h5 to start a checkmate idea against h7. That is a very good idea. I like that. I call it the rook swinger. When you're swinging the rook around, that's a good idea. I like that. f5 is a move I'd be very tempted to play, but I have to back this up with calculation. And you are now going to lose one of your most important pawns. And do you have a good follow-up if black just wins a pawn? If you don't have a good follow-up, you should not be playing f5. Well, I don't see a good follow-up here, I'm afraid. You've actually lost one of your most important pawns, so not f5. We can eliminate that. And the other move, the other move, which I really like, is the move played queen h5. And this also has a similar idea to rook f3. We maybe want to go rook f3, rook h3, and checkmate here. So this is a nice idea. And what did black play? Well, black played rook to e8. And why did black play that? We've got to get in the habit of looking at our opponent's moves and always considering what our opponent's plan was. And he wants to now go knight to f8. So his knight defends this square on h7. Now, in this position, white played an amazing idea. Now, we could play rook to f3 here, but after knight to f8, rook to h3, we're not checkmating anymore because black has got his knight to f8. So there is an amazing move here that can bust the way through. I might just giving it away there if you're watching closely. Okay, Ginger Ninja was watching closely. Now, an amazing move here is, because f7's weakened, remember, when your opponent plays move, also look at the negative aspects of that move. The negative aspects of the rook going there is the f7 square is weak. And an amazing move now from white. Knight takes d5. And the idea of this is to open up the bishop to f7. Black took on d5. And what should you play now? What should you play now? And I love this game. One of my favorite games. I hope I haven't given away the answer here. What should white play now? White to play now. What should you do now? Have a think about it. Is the idea just to go bishop takes pawn? Does black have a good defense against that? Is there? And remember, don't just tell me one move. Try to give me a little bit more calculation than one move here. Try to calculate a little bit deeper than one move. Okay, well, I see some of you have got the right answer. A beautiful idea here. We can now play the absolutely brilliant move, because let's have a look. Process of elimination. If we played bishop takes d5, yes, we're threatening to take on f7, but it's black's move, and we've always got to consider our opponent's going to play the best move. And the best move here would be knight takes e5, a counterattack. The idea of this is the queen is now attacking the bishop, and also the knight is defending our weak pawn. So in this position, black's actually winning. Remember, black is a piece up after all. And you're also threatening bishop g4 here, trapping the queen. The queen there will be trapped. But the right move here is the amazing move. Queen takes f7 check. What a beautiful queen sacrifice. Now, before I show you this, how this combination finishes, I have to say, you probably know this if you know me already, that I call this kind of checkmate, I'm going to show you, a tombstone checkmate. I think I'm the only person who's called it this out of anyone. And the idea is, we all die, unfortunately. I'd rather die in Hawaii than here, but hey-ho, in a bar, that would suit me down to the ground. But, we all die. And if you do get a tombstone, what do you have on your tombstone? Well, I tell you what, a beautiful chess position, maybe my best ever game of chess, would be very appropriate for me. You know, I'd love to have this position I'm about to show you on my tombstone if I ever get buried in a graveyard. Maybe I'll never die. So you know, because it's something that, you know, imagine for the chess lovers out there, you're walking through a graveyard, you're looking at the gravestones, it's a little bit boring. You've got, you know, Simon died in 2004, whatever, you know, well, hopefully 2000 and later on 2080, let's say that, be safe. And then you see this beautiful chess position, and on that, and you'll think, oh, hello, there's a beautiful chess position here. And you can then, you know, chill out in the graveyard, try to work out the puzzle. I like the idea of that, you know. Is my audio out of sync? Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to solve that. You can't see my face anymore. Probably better that way, face for radio. Okay, so what is the idea of this? Well, the idea is, after queen takes f7, we now, if the king moves to h8, the simply is knight to e8, and that threatens the queen, and threatens queen takes g7, checkmate. So this is game over. We win a queen, we win the game. So black is forced to take the queen. And now just watch how the bishop and knight coordinate. Bishop takes d5 check. Black king only has 2 squares it can move to, f8 or g6. We go back to the process of elimination. If king to f8, we can now use what I call like a yo-yo technique. You know, a yo-yo? The knight goes into e6 with check. The king has to move. And now we first take the queen with check. The king has to move. And look at this yo-yo. The knight can come back with check. The king has to move. The knight can come back with check. The king has to move. And eventually we're just going to take so many pieces. And if we count the pieces here, white is now material up with a fantastic pawn structure. The yo-yo windmill. Yeah, it's also called the windmill, I think, this technique. But what a beautiful idea. So the king goes backwards. We have the windmill technique. Was there any better way to play this? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So check. If I was white here, I might try knight g5 check. Just seeing if my opponent goes to f8, because now I have knight takes h7, checkmate. But if my opponent goes back to h8 here, I think I probably should, you know, come back again, just repeat the position. And it's the boing boing checkmate or whatever. Okay, so let's use the process of elimination. So we know if the king goes back to f8, we're okay. In the game, black's king came up to g6. Now, everyone, this is your chance to shine. White can now force checkmate again using a series of checks. So like we did before, look for all the checks in the position, and who's going to find the checkmate first. I'm actually going to do this myself because I haven't actually solved this yet either. Let me just see. So f5, king h5, bishop f3, king h4, g3, king h3, bishop g2, king g4, rook f4. It's about check. Okay, I mean, this is a tough one. So look, what I'm looking at, just to let you know, I'm looking at here check, king h5, bishop f3 check. I'll run this through in a minute, but this is the kind of position you need to practice. Don't just tell me one move. I think it's pretty obvious that the first move is pawn up check, but what is the whole combination? Who's going to be the first to solve the whole combination? No one. Who's going to be first out there? Very impressive. If anyone can work this out all the way to checkmate. We have a king hunt, boys. We have a king hunt. The king is running. It is running. Okay, so has Ginger Ninja got it? Let's have a look. G3. I think Ginger Ninja's pretty much he's got the right idea there. Well done, Ginger Ninja. You're doing very well on these webinars, I'm saying. Well done, Ginger Ninja. Let's just give everyone else a chance to see if they can do it. This is the kind of thing, if you want to get better at chess, you need to be able to work these things out all the way to the end. I mean, just do one move at a time. Just look at a check. Check on every move. That's all you need to do. Okay, well, I think I'm going to show the solution now. The solution is f5 check. This is a good move because it opens up the bishop, meaning the king cannot escape to h6. The king goes to h5. And again, we've got to look for checks. This check is the best check because it means the black king only has one square to go to. If we tried another check, like bishop to f7 check, black has three answers to this: g6, king g4, or king h4. Let's try to keep our opponent's options as low as possible. So bishop f3 check, only one move, king here. And now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because if we try, as Effie has, bishop to f2 check, the king can come back to g5. That probably doesn't help us. So we need to come up with another move. g3 check. I love this. Look at this king run. Those of you who've seen the film Forrest Gump, this kind of reminds me of, you know, run, Forrest, run, run, boy. So the king has to come to h3. And now, what is another check? This check, bishop g2 check. It's a very hard combination, this Heino. Don't worry if you can't solve it. It's a tough one. But it's the kind of thing you should practice at home. Get yourself a good puzzle book. There's nothing like it. The king has to go to g4. Any other checks? Let's now bring the rook in check. There's two squares the king can move to, but we should be able to see it's checkmate. If the king goes to g5, it's checkmate in one move. How can we checkmate in one move here, people? What's the checkmate in one move here? What's the checkmate in one move here? Ganesh, thanks, man. Thanks for buying the collection. Like I said, that's really cool of you to buy the full Ginger GM collection as well. Thank you, man. So yeah, well done. So I mean, we are lazy, but in a real game you have to, you know, this is something you have to practice. By the way, yeah, also, like, I mean, this is going to be over, this webinar soon, and you're not going to, I think you've only got a little bit more time to get my 16-hour course at half price. So if you're watching this and you want to improve your chess in a quickest way possible, and you're a busy person, this course is ideal for you. I go into the secrets of the course. There is a link just below this video to buy the course. You'd be mad not to. It's a great deal. You will improve your chess, and there's even a money back guarantee. If you don't like it, you can get your money back a month later on. So that can't be a bad deal. I try to make it fun in the course, the 16 hours, so you won't be bored during the 16 hours. I try to teach you in a fun way that will also help your chess. Fun and improve your chess. It's got to be worth the money, and it's only 50% off at this moment in time. Okay, so yeah, well done everyone who's got this. The checkmate is this beautiful discovered checkmate, not a discovered check, a discovered checkmate. Rook h4 checkmate, and well done if you solved that one. Let's just go back one move. Instead of the king going there, if the king goes to this square, well, how would you checkmate in two moves now? Two move checkmate now. How would you do it here? And you can see that the black position is very discombobulated here. The king is running around crazily, and you can see complete discombobulation going on in this position. Thanks for that, Mickey. That's very nice of you to tell us that. I'm glad you shared that with us. Thank you. So what is the move here? Well, come on, checkmate in two moves here. Hopefully everyone can solve that. Rook h4 doesn't quite work. Oh, rook h4 is a nice move. Oh, I like that. I didn't see that one, Effie. That's a nice move. Well, there's two ways. You can either go bishop f3 check, and now the black king only has one square, king g5, and now we do the same checkmate as before, this discovered checkmate. But actually, I think there's a really beautiful way of doing this. As Effie has said, you can actually do that the other way around. You can swap it. Rather than going bishop f3 and then rook h4, you can actually play rook h4 first. This is really beautiful. Bishop takes h4. Put this in my tombstone. I have to say, look at that. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's a good time to go and celebrate now. Look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful checkmate. Sorry, like I said, my pronunciation is very bad. I don't know how to pronounce names, so if I get it wrong, you just have to bear with me there. I apologize. Hey ho, we can't all be perfect, can we? And that, my friends, is a tombstone checkmate, and that is something that you'd certainly want on your tombstone. What a beautiful checkmate that is. Two bishops striking across at the black king there. Good stuff. Well, look, that basically takes me to the end of this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. fun things going on in the positions. Just trying to share with you some nice, beautiful checkmates, and also trying to share with you ways that you might want to think about improving your sort of vision. So 3 things to bear in mind. Trying to improve what moves you look for. So try to look at your move, basically broaden your horizon. That came out very slowly. And also then calculation, process elimination, very important. And enjoy yourself as well. Have fun. That's what it's about, and it's your last chance now to buy the course. It's 50% off. I think that, how much is it? If you click on the link, it will tell you how much it is. I think it's about $70 at 50% off. I know it's a lot of money, but I did put like 100 hours into the course at least, and we need to try to make a living, us chess players as well, because it's bloody hard making a living doing chess, but it's quite cool making a living doing things we enjoy. And it's your last chance now, guys, before I finish this webinar, well, to buy the course. I think it's going to run a little bit longer, but the link is just down there. Go on, buy it. Go on, you'd be mad not to. And cool, you can go and buy the course now, and I'm sure it'll help your chess. Last chance, get it, go on, do it. Thank you all for tuning in to the webinar. Someone's asking how old I am. I think I'm 37. Well, I know I'm 37, so yeah, late 30s. And yeah, cool. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and it was great fun. What do I recommend against e4? Kevin is saying. Last chance to get your questions in. Well, it depends on your style. This is something, again, I talk about in the course. You've got to work out what your style is. I would not recommend the same opening to a tactical player that I would to a positional player. And in my course, I talk about this. Not all openings work for everyone. You've got to do it for your personal style. This is really important, and that's something that people don't realize. So again, buy the course and you find out. That's the easiest way, isn't it? All right, cheers, guys. Enough of me trying to sell stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll be doing more of this stuff quite soon. So hope you enjoyed that. Bye for now.